all of you have been in the industry for quite a while now, and I'm interested to hear about the major changes you've seen from your vantage point, since you're all in different verticals in the industry.
And for me, at the time, I was like, well, yeah, I got to be on camera, so how do I do this? I got to go do auditions, find the casting directors, etc., etc. And I just quickly realized at the time I was, I think, maybe this color. I'm like darker than most Asian, like East Asian, right? Because I'm Indonesian, or I was born in Indonesia. And so that didn't really fit into what a lot of the casting directors wanted. I couldn't get a call back for anything. I couldn't book anything. When I did book something, they would put glasses on me. I was like, I don't play this character, right? So I realized that that was something that they were looking for, was a certain type of Asian. It wasn't me. I wasn't something that they wanted representing. And so I actually fell away from that, because also at the time, after a year or two into it, I kind of brought my brother into it. I told him, oh, hey, I can't go to this audition. Why don't you come into this audition? And he went and booked a national Apple commercial like that. And I was like, cool, so they want you. And then so I realized my look wasn't what they were looking for, because we have very different looks. Just at the time, that's what they were looking for. But I could play the ninjas. I could play, you see this, and you see me do flips in the air, and I fall and I die. And I've died so many times in my career, like I can't even count. So that was where my career headed, and that was, to me, that was it. That was the way to go. And it wasn't until it kind of shifted. And again, for me, I found acting success with Power Rangers, and that was my first acting job, was because the coolest thing about it was that they weren't casting a specifically Asian character for that character. They were like, who's gonna fit in this role? And it just so happened that it was me. And I got to play this character who it wasn't like made blatantly clear in the show that it was an Asian character of Asian descent. He didn't his parents had a Chinese restaurant next door, that's why he's Chinese. I don't know, they didn't do that, and it was really cool that I got to play that character. And I didn't play, the nerd character. I played the big tough guy, and it was really cool to be able to play that. And then slowly from that, I saw more shifts. And then, after Power Rangers, I got my manager and my agent, and they were like, yeah, no, people are looking for your type now. They're starting to cast for that kind of stuff, and it's slowly changing. So, in my line of work, it's been great.
From the production side of things, and Robert can probably speak more to it as well. Obviously, we're in a digital revolution, and so filmmaking has given more control to the creators, I would say, which is plus side. The downside of that is there's a lot more pressure on the creators to get the money and to self-distribute even. And so, but it's great for an indie producer, to be in this world right now. I just don't need to sleep. That's all.
I'm obviously a little bit of the outsider looking in, but I will say that, in another life, I actually was an independent producer. And I did a series of films, and it was interesting, and I'm sure both Yoshi and Jen can speak to this a little bit more than I can. But, throughout kind of this symposium, this conference, I've seen a lot of people talk about increasing social media awareness, about what you're trying to move forward the way you want to see yourselves portrayed through social media. But one of the things I've seen, talking about changes, at least in the production area, was that we used to cast, all right, you went to the casting agent, this is what you came up with. Instead, there's more of an emphasis on, hey, what's your social media following? Or, what are you bringing to, what audience are you bringing to this production, especially an independent production where, as you say, every dollar is tight. There's a certain amount of money that you have to raise, and you have to make sure there's an audience or else it's not going to go forward. But just from when I was in production, which was probably about 10 years ago, versus to now when I'm in distribution, we are still looking at, okay, so, and I'm going to pound this into the wall all the time, but like for Mayday Life, which comes out May 31st and is playing right up the street at AMC at Atlantic Times Square, for that, something like that, we rely hugely, especially in countries where it is not the home country, we rely on their social media following to get the word out. You know, maybe I'm not necessarily in China or Taiwan or Hong Kong where this movie will come out and there's going to be advertising everywhere, but I might follow their social media page and I might actually get information that we work with them that, oh, hey, you can still see this in the US even if it's happening in, elsewhere on a much larger scale.